Hello, and welcome to my Mec E 200 video presentation on an invention before the 1800s. I'd like to pose a question. What invention has had the greatest impact, saving the most lives since its adoption? Both vaccines and seatbelts are common enough guesses, but it may be surprising to some to learn that the throne actually belongs to the humble and often overlooked flush toilet. From its earliest beginnings in the Indus Valley, an ancient civilization that lived over 4,000 years ago in what is now modern-day Pakistan and India, the earliest known instance of a toilet was documented. The civilization boasted the first water supply and sanitation devices of their kind. Running water would flow in, a common sewage pipe connected toilets in several houses, and then carried human waste away. However, this innovation did not survive the fall of the civilization, and toilets only popped up sporadically throughout history, occasionally in the residence of a grand ruler. For example, on what is now the Greek island of Crete, the earliest recorded civilization in Europe, the Minoan civilization, had invented drainage systems which removed sewage from their cities. The Romans also built sewer systems to collect rainwater and dispose of waste. Wealthy people had their own toilets, and there were even public lavatories. However, after the fall of the Roman Empire in 476 CE, toilets were not used again for several hundred years, until the Ajax toilet was invented in Great Britain. During the intermediate years between the Romans and the reinvention of the toilet, chamber pots and cesspits, the latter of which is actually not half as sanitary as it sounds, were the primary tools to dispose of waste, except waste was never properly disposed, but rather moved and or left to accumulate into perfect grounds for a whole host of bacteria and disease to thrive. Very often, water supplies would be contaminated, broadening the reach of disease and sickness. Such illnesses as cholera, typhoid fever, and dysentery remained common until the toilet became accepted and integrated into society hundreds of years later. The first true instance of a flush toilet was invented by John Harrington in Great Britain in 1596, seen here in the popular garb of the day. He was the godson of Queen Elizabeth I. He invented two toilets, one at his residence and one at the royal palace. However, the idea did not catch on, and Elizabeth likely never used the toilet, possibly for the fear that the sound of rushing water from the palace would be construed as the royal bowels being cleared. Additionally, as running water was not integrated into cities yet, the cistern had to be manually refilled after each flush. Jumping forward to 1775, Alexander Cummings patented the first toilet and the incredibly useful S-trap, which we still use today. In essence, standing water in the pipe creates a seal, blocking offensive odors from the sewage pipes seeping into people's homes. Another important invention, though not by Alexander Cummings, was the cistern or tank. With running water now existing in metropolitan areas, tank cisterns could be refilled automatically by having a float ball trigger open a valve, which refills the tank to a proper level, before automatically shutting again. Let's jump into modern times, where an alarming number of countries in Africa and Asia lack such facilities. As mentioned at the start of this video, the toilet has saved the most lives of any invention since its acceptance and widespread integration during the reign of Queen Victoria. Its benefits towards a healthier ecosystem are immense. Without proper waste disposal, potentially disease-transmitting insects such as mosquitoes and flies thrive in great numbers. Water sources become contaminated, going on to contaminate agriculture, livestock, and drinking water with disease. Cholera and diarrheal disease still affect huge swaths of the population, the latter claiming 760,000 children under 5 each year, and it's completely preventable. This became a known problem in the 1800s, yet today around 2.5 billion of the planet's population lack access to a basic toilet or latrine. That's more than 1 in every 3 people. With the mere introduction of toilets and basic sanitation measures, disease-carrying insect numbers are greatly reduced and crops, animals, and humans are all able to consume uncontaminated water, strongly and positively affecting health and standard of living. Were the flush toilet to be brought to the developing nations that currently lack such infrastructure, as it was in the early 1800s, the positive benefits would be monumental in alleviating the constant onslaught of disease by providing basic, yet crucial, sanitation practices where they are needed most. Thank you for watching my Mec E 200 video presentation on the flush toilet's impact on society and sanitation.